Let's talk about a couple issues that
Sure.
they did manage to touch on a couple things. And I know one issue that you're super passionate about is environmental innovation and sources of energy. If the government would just get out of the way, we could have a greener future, but Washington seems to screw everything up.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why it's so frustrating to me is because there's so much misinformation out there. And one of the examples that I've used is, people always point to the corporations as, somebody needs to rein them in. And I've mentioned how, look at the Gulf oil spill. People say, look, you needed government in there because corporations just go in and they just, have oil spills and we're the ones left footing the bill. What they don't realize is that the government is the one that capped the liability, that in a free market, the insurance company would have had a profit motive to actually say, hey, we're going to come out and make inspections because, we don't want to pay a claim. So the free market, the profit motive is going to be what helps the environment the most. And I just learned of a new case, and this is what's so frustrating too. And I guess what's really frustrating is that I know that the government has been one of the biggest problems in pollution, in the environment. And yet the people who care most about the environment, they're the ones going to government. And I just heard an astounding case. This was out of Montana. And there's a one. Can I name the organization?
Sure.
Okay, it's PERC, PERC.
Oh, I love those guys.
Yes. Okay. I met two wonderful women who told me that there was a forest, beautiful forest. The timber company wanted to come by it, chop down all the trees, and the people around said, you know what? We kind of like the trees there. We'll put in a bid and we'll see if we can, outbid the timber company. And they were shocked to find out that they did indeed outbid the timber company. And then they were like, uh-oh, now what? We got to raise the money. How are we going to raise the money? They actually raised the money in 2 weeks, which, by the way, doesn't surprise me at all because there are a lot of individuals, as you point out, individuals who care about the environment. Now, here's where the story turns ugly. They won, they raised the money, they got to keep the forest. But the legislature passed a law to prevent that from ever happening again. In other words, it's the government saying, no, we're going to let the corporations win out. And yet these people who are for the Green Party, who are, for bigger government, they're turning to the very government that's hurting them. So I think that's why I'm so passionate, because it's like, why do you go to, your torturer for help?
Yeah. It's that sort of contradiction for people that this happens on a lot of things. It happens on criminal justice. It happens on virtually every issue where people worry about some horrible social outcome.
Yep.
The murder of Breonna Taylor, and I would use the word murder.
Yes.
But to me, it's a cautionary tale about a government that has too much power and too little accountability. So if you want justice for Breonna Taylor, you need to acknowledge that the government has too much power.
Right.